Okay, the Adidas SL2 and the Nike Zoom Fly 6. Which is the better pair of shoes? These are both tempo runners. Let's compare them and see what's what and what's not. Okay, first of all, these shoes are a fantastic budget option. They're going to get cheaper soon because a new iteration, the SL3, should be coming out at some point this year. But these at the moment are $130. These are $180, much newer shoe. So these are much cheaper off the bat. That's the first thing. And what you get for the money with these shoes is tremendous. But the same can be said of these shoes. You pay a bit more, but you get more tech. Okay, so why are we comparing these two shoes? Are they comparable? I think in many ways they are comparable because they're both tempo shoes. They're both shoes that like to go fast, yet they are a bit different. And let's discuss how they are a bit different so you can decide which would be a better fit for you. So these shoes, okay, let's just start with some of the specs. Off the bat, these are a lighter pair of shoes. In men's size 9, these shoes, if I remember correctly, are 238 grams. These are 244 grams, so a little bit heavier over here, but not so much heavier. And plus you have a plate, you have a much bigger stack. So the stack in these shoes is substantially less than the stack in these shoes. So you're getting a lighter deal. This is not a max stack shoe. This is closer to a max stack shoe. So if you want less stack and you want a lighter shoe overall, this is going to give you all of that. So for the stack that you get and the fact that there's a plate in here and there's still some padding, despite it's much racier, but it still has the padding that you want from a trainer. So for the padding and the extra stack and the plate, the increase in mass is not a lot. So you get quite a lot of bang for your buck with the increase in mass with these shoes. But nonetheless, lighter shoes, they win on mass. Okay, these shoes are also very nimble. They don't have a giant platform. They're pretty nimble from heel to toe. They got this nimble platform, and you feel the nimbleness in these shoes, and it's a really nice feeling. They really, you just want to go around corners. You want to just kind of do parkour. I mean, you don't really want to do parkour, but you have that nimble feeling when you get into these shoes. So these shoes lend themselves very well to getting onto the track, but of course they're great for their road shoes, but they can do a good job on the track. And if you just want that nimble feeling, you really feel the nimbleness with these shoes. That's not to say that these aren't nimble shoes. They are also very nimble shoes. Okay, but you feel the stack a lot more with these shoes, the softness of the foams in these shoes, you feel that. Now with these shoes, you have this interesting, okay, before we get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Okay, so we have more stack, less mass, more mass. Drop, they both have a similar drop, not really that similar. This is 8mm, this is 9mm, but some testing reveals that they might be closer or the other way around. But they are said by the respective brands to have an 8mm drop over here and a 9mm drop over here. I really do feel the drop. I feel the drop in both shoes, but I feel the drop in this shoe, in this pair of shoes. So you do feel that slanted. Both shoes want to get you up on your toes. Both shoes want you to go faster. They both have that get on your toes and get going feeling with the geometry of the shoes. These shoes have the tongue is fine. You know, the tongue over here is a bit better. You know, so this tongue isn't gusseted. You can see there's some gusset action going on over here. The laces on these shoes, people complain that they feel a bit cheap, and you know that's kind of true. They are kind of cheap feeling, but they do the job. You might want to change the laces if they bother you. These laces are better. The padding on the heel on these shoes is this heel counter has a bit more stiffness. This is very flexible. You can see the difference. These shoes overall are going to be much more flexible because they don't have a plate, but the foam is quite stiff. This is a much softer foam. This is a much stiffer foam. And with these shoes, instead of a plate, they have this kind of plate of, not really a plate, it's just the section of Light Strike Pro, which is a fantastic foam. And it's amazing how well the Light Strike Pro works as almost like a plate in the carrier foam. The two really complement each other very, very well. So there's this, of course, it has a plate, and the plate goes along here, and you have the Zoom X foam on the top and the SR02 foam at the bottom. And both foams are soft. The Zoom X foam on the top, not at the bottom, is much more responsive. But the foam combination on these shoes works very well, and the plate, it's not as stiff as some of the other plates, like in the Vaporfly and Alphafly. It's a bendier plate, but it's still stiff enough, and you feel the plate. So this has much more torsional rigidity. It can be bent as well, but it's obviously going to be stiffer than this shoe without a plate. But because of the hardness of this foam, much harder foam, for a flexible shoe, it is quite stiff. Okay, that's enough about that. You can look up specs. I've spent more time speaking about them than I wanted to. Okay, the ride. That's what we're here for. What shoes are better for you and the use cases. So, okay, these shoes, I think these shoes are great on the track. These shoes are great on the track too. But if you want a bit more nimbleness, I think these shoes win in terms of nimbleness. They do have great energy return, but these have way more energy return. So if you want more plate assistance, more technology assistance, more energy return overall, these shoes are going to give you substantially more. Though these shoes are no slouch, they will give you energy return. And if you want to like work on foot strength, or you don't want to always be running in a plated shoe while still have a good tempo tool on your feet, these shoes give you that. They give you the nimbleness. They give you that feeling that you want to go fast. They give you just enough response from the fantastic Lightstrike Pro foam in here. So you're getting some assistance, but you're going to, be working without a plate, which may be a good thing for your training. You might not always want to be with the plate. And these shoes give you that. So for a simple, more traditional package, these shoes are fantastic. That's why these are such popular shoes last year. Many people might even award these as the shoes of the year last year because of that fact. They're just simple shoes. They do a great job at making you want to run fast without getting in your way too much. They're nimble. They do everything you can want a pair of shoes to do, with one exception I'll get to later, for a shoe without a plate. These shoes, they have that plate, they have that assistance, they have that more aggressive, I wouldn't say more aggressive geometry. Both shoes have a geometry that want to get you running. These shoes do have a pretty aggressive geometry, but it's smooth. It's quite a smooth toe-off, I find, with these shoes. So I'm not going to go full out aggressive. It's aggressive yet smooth, but faster overall. When you hit down on that plate, you feel it, and you're going to be flying much faster than with these shoes. And you can lock into a fast pace for longer, much better with these shoes. So for longer efforts, these shoes are going to be way better. For shorter efforts where you don't want to plate, these shoes are going to do very well. Both will do well on a track setting, or flat road where you're doing intervals, or you're doing fartleks, or you're doing tempo sessions, threshold repeats. These shoes will do very well. The big issue with these shoes for me has been stability. So there's less stack, but they're not quite as stable. And I've had some Achilles issues again and again with these shoes. It's my form. It's not the shoes that I'm blaming, but if you have some weaknesses and you have a pair of shoes that kind of don't help support you when you are weak, you need to be careful. These shoes they aren't as stable. Their nimbleness comes at the cost of lack of stability. Whereas these shoes, I was concerned they would be similar in that respect in terms of stability. But I find that these shoes are far more stable. Not stable shoes, but far more stable in my experience than the SL2. So I was surprised because these shoes are soft. When you get soft shoes, you don't expect them to be very stable. But of course, there's a plate that actually also acts as a stabilizing element. These shoes are hard, so you expect them to be fairly stable, but the geometry, the platform, with my biomechanics, they haven't been very stable for me. They've been too twisty, they've been too bendy, and I was expecting them to be okay with the 9mm drop. I thought it would offset too much work on my lower leg, on my Achilles and soleus, calves, but I've had numerous times calf issues with these shoes, and so far nothing with these. But I love the ride in these shoes. I love that nimble, energetic feeling in these shoes, and I love the ride in these shoes as well. They're more like lock into a go fast pace. But yeah, they have lots of pace range, both of them, but both singing on the fast side. So which shoe should you get? Well, it really depends what you want. If you want something that's more versatile, which one is more versatile? I'm going to say these are more versatile. You can do easy runs in these shoes very well, but because these are slightly more stable, you can be fighting the shoes. These are not easy running shoes. You can do easy efforts with these shoes, but everything faster, these shoes are fantastic. And for long runs, these shoes are fantastic. For longer efforts, these shoes aren't as good. If you focused on tempo, track, you want something with a more traditional feel that can also be easy, and you're not concerned about stability, and you don't want to spend as much money, then go with these. So both fantastic shoes, both fast shoes, both wonderful tempo shoes that give you a lot of bang for your buck. I love them both. So it really depends. It depends on your budget and your needs. If I had to pick one, for me, of course, I would pick these. But these are still very great shoes. Okay, I hope that was helpful. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. It helps my channel. Like the video, comment, tell me what you think. What's your favorite pair of tempo shoes? And yeah, until the next one. Bye-bye.